Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Irresistible and I'm a manifestation and soul realignment coach. My channel is geared towards helping you become your highest potential so that you can live and experience the extraordinary life that is your birthright. In today's video, I want to talk about whether or not you should affirm for yourself or for the other person when you are working on manifesting a specific person. I also want you to know that I have now launched the self-study course of Magnetically You, which is a self-love program that will help you really build up your self-concept and love. It's a course that I co-hosted with Nadine Ghassan last month, and it is now available as a self-study course. We've gotten amazing reviews from it. Some people have not just experienced shifts in their love life, they've experienced shifts in their work. I highly recommend you check it out. The information is in the description below. Of course, it's a self-paced course, so you can go about it at your own pace. But it's packed with valuable tools and techniques. And of course, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon in order to receive a notification anytime I upload a new video. So let's get started. When it comes to manifesting a specific person, there are a lot of people out there that give different ideas or techniques on what you should do and how you should go about it. To be honest, all of them are just techniques. You can manifest even if you are not using any of these techniques. I just want to emphasize that. But sometimes we have long-held beliefs about ourselves and about the other person and about circumstances in general that may need to be changed. And in order to do that, it's highly recommended you do affirmations. Now, you can also do visualization. It works perfectly. But in my experience, I feel that affirmations are the best way to change your inner assumptions. Now, you can change your inner assumptions by just bringing them to the forefront, if that makes sense. So you might have a belief that you're not chosen. Well, that's just an assumption. That's just an opinion. It's not a fact. And the only reason you think it's fact is because you've held on to this assumption. And when you understand that your experience always reflected back to you that assumption, then you know that by changing the assumption, your experience has to change. By understanding that, you're able to release it. So technically, just by bringing something to your awareness, you can release it, if it is the core belief. So let's keep things simple. The reason we say affirmations are really good is sometimes we don't know what the core belief is. So if your secondary belief is I am not chosen, behind it there is a core belief, and that I am not chosen is supporting that, then it might be sometimes more difficult to dig that up and release it. Because the minute you release something, you allow it to dissolve. You're like, that's the assumption I'm choosing to make. And so then you can release it. Sometimes it's not that simple to become aware of an assumption you are making. That is why affirmations can be super powerful, because you're really rewiring a bunch of beliefs. You're kind of replacing the old beliefs and assumptions with new beliefs and assumptions. And you don't need to believe the affirmations as you're saying them. Just by repeating, you're automatically changing the assumptions. So, should you affirm for yourself or should you affirm for the specific person? Here, I will give you my suggestion. This is based on my opinion. When it comes to my clients, I always give them at 3 levels. I give them affirmations about self-concept, I give them affirmations about the specific person, and I give them affirmations about circumstances in general. In the course that I spoke about, Magnetically You, we covered this in session number 3. We spoke about some of the triggers women have when it comes to relationships. A lot of the triggers relating to jealousy, fear of abandonment, insecurity, all kinds of, at these 3 levels, you may have assumptions all relating to love. So for example, at your first level, self-concept, you may believe that you're not pursued, you're not chosen, you're not the woman who's pursued and chosen. You're comparing yourself to other women who are chosen and pursued. You might also have assumptions about your specific person or about potential partners, that they don't want to commit or they always want to end the relationship. Then you have on the 3rd level, circumstances in general. Men, you might have this assumption men don't want to settle down, or men like variety. So all kinds of assumptions you have that all boils down to self-concept. Because if you had a rock solid self-concept, you might say, yes, that happens with other women. Men don't want to settle down with other women, but with me, they settle down. So it all boils down to your self-concept. And even your self-concept around the person, he does not want to commit. That's just an assumption because you're feeling you're not worthy of being committed to. So in general, most of the time, not all of the time, a lot of the assumptions you have about the specific person, as well as circumstances in general, are all pointing back to you, to your self-concept. So saying that, I would always say the biggest and most important affirmations to make are for self-concept. Now, this is not 100% of the times true, because there are women out there who have a rock solid self-concept who make assumptions about the other person because they're making assumptions in general. So it's about them, it's not about the self-concept. So they've molded this person into being a certain way. In such a case, that woman would benefit from doing affirmations for the specific person or circumstances in general, because they're not tying back to her, if that makes sense. So I'll give you an example. One of my clients was in a relationship with someone. It was a casual relationship, and she has a rock solid self-concept. This woman is amazing, but she had assumptions about him that he will not want to commit to her. It was about him. It was not about her, because her circumstance may not have helped the situation, but it's not so much about her, it's the assumptions she made about him. And by changing her assumptions about him, she was able to change him. And he was turning around in ways that reflected back to her the fact that she released that assumption. So in such a case, repeating affirmations regarding the other person, that he does want to commit, he does want to be with me, he does want to spend his time with me, is what's needed. She was just hung up with regards to this one person. She had a rock solid self-concept otherwise. So essentially, it all is case by case. When I work with my clients, I give them at all three levels. I give them affirmations for self-concept, I give them affirmations for the specific person, and I give them affirmations for circumstances in general. In my personal experience, I generally like much more. I prefer to do self-concept affirmations because I like to make myself magnetic in general, and kind of opens up my options. And then if there's a specific person involved, they'll be magnetized in as well as anyone else. So for me, that's how I resonate most. Not to say I haven't done affirmations for specific persons, I have. But for me, I always prefer to focus inwards more than outwards. That's just my personal preference. It does not mean that it does not work. It's just a pure preference. You have to go with what you feel like doing. I hope all of this makes sense. If you have any questions, then please do write them in the comments below. I will definitely answer them. And thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.